Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Cecilia, but I go by the name CeeChronicles across all my social media platforms. So if you want to check out my channels, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, that's what I go by. On this particular platform, I post Middle Eastern fragrance reviews and anything fragrance related. Now, if you like that style of content and you're not yet subscribed, guys, please do consider subscribing. It's completely free of charge and it helps with the growth of this channel. Now, if you're returning and you're already subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. Also note, I do have a second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted, where I focus on vlogs as well as Western fragrance reviews. Welcome to today's video, guys. I have with me here from the House of Lattafa, gifted to me by the House of Lattafa, in that same haul that I did, show you at the beginning of the month. This is not a separate, gift. It just came together with those niche Emirati fragrances. Is this one, Le Collection, the Antiquities 1886. This just reminded me of how you shouldn't use looks or judge a book by the cover. I mean, when we were growing up, we used to prank each other by saying, don't cover the judge with the book. Don't book the judge before the cover. Don't judge the book with the cover. Or don't judge the book by its cover. The bottle looks like this, comes in this beautiful packaging. I think you have seen one of these because I did bring you the collections, the Antiquities 1910. It also does come, present in a presentation like this. And then the bottle screams masculine, all right? Just by looking at it there, let me just show you a close up there. It's got that rustic looking car, and it's gonna give you a mental shortcut that is probably gonna be vintage toned men's men, that type of thing. But this is not what I've been wearing. This fragrance today as my fragrance of the day and the past 2 days because I've been enjoying this fragrance, guys. Nothing at all in this fragrance screams masculine to me. I have to be honest with that. And by this, I'm not saying it cannot be worn by a man. All I'm saying is, if you go by just this bottle and you say, I'm going to gift my significant other, I'm going to gift my father, I'm going to give my boyfriend, if they are open enough, they'll respectfully ask you whether it is indeed a men's fragrance, okay? Because it just comes out right as a softie of a fragrance. What pops there in the opening is the white chocolate. And for some reason, I was thinking that white chocolate, because it's carrying a tonka, it's carrying a jasmine, it's carrying cinnamon, it's also paired together with an orris, the matte. I thought that white chocolate is going to be in the background, failing to speak, but for some reason this white chocolate is what is doing the most in here. So you are going to get the notes of tonka, but the tonka seems to be so tamed that it's just there, in the mix to make the DNA what it is. Jasmine is there, but I wouldn't call this one a floral, right? And the cinnamon is there, but it's careful enough not to push this over to what I would say it's woodsy, it's spicy, that sort of thing. So it just presents as a nice, smooth, luxurious feel of a fragrance with wafts of an evident bergamot, but that bergamot not enough to disturb that milky nuance or that lactonic nuance that bounces off the white chocolate. Just smelling it like this, if you have or you like white chocolate, you will know that white chocolate is not also 100% milky, but there is something in there in the white chocolate that's going to remind you of like a sweet powderiness there with a faint lactonic tone to it. And I'm going to have to emphasize that I'm using the word lactonic sparingly there, so don't take that and run with it. By this I mean, I wouldn't say top 10 lactonic fragrances and then include 1886, because then if you like the really creamy, milky lactonic fragrances like Qaid Al Fasan, the unlimited edition, you might find yourself thinking, this is just powdery sweet. Where is, how lactonic, what were you talking about? But yes, I do get a lactonic wrap-up of a fragrance here. I do get a shy creaminess, not enough to push it to whipped cream or dessert milky, but at the same time, safe enough to put it under what I can call a gourmand scent. Now, while you're enjoying, that white chocolate, the one note that seems to somewhat be able to speak the most is the orris. The orris comes into the mix here, weighing in as sort of like a lipstick lipsticky type of feel. It is at that point that some of you are going to think that this fragrance has got a synthetic tone. I don't get a synthetic tone. I just get a well-rounded fragrance that's safe enough not to call a floral, safe enough not to call a woody or spicy scent, but safe enough to generalize as a very luxurious, smelling fragrance there. Okay, so that Oris comes into the mix, is going to have that kind of lipsticky, even dare I say makeup-y type of feel there. And that is at that point that I felt, no, this is going to leave a lot of men conflicted, especially if you go by the fact that this has that same, like a little bit of what will remind you of Dior Homme Intense. Yes, I can say if you like that DNA, you're going to love it. But this one kind of pushes it more to sort of align with like what I would call a quintessential feminine scent. If it changes, it changes. But for now, I am just saying things as they are, guys, that I do get a powdery weight in this fragrance that comes and marries together with this milky tone, and then that powdery weight again is coming off like a musk, okay, and that musky thing is gonna fuse with a little bit of a very shy tonka, very, very shy, and then a cinnamon that's not enough to cross this one over to what I would say, oh, it's woodsy, that sort of thing. Just a nice, safe, sweet, feminine toned fragrance. The DNA in itself, unfortunately for now, is not performing the way I would have wanted it to, but I'm going to excuse it based on the fact that I've had it in my collection for about maybe 2.5 or 3 weeks. So I'm just going to excuse it for now, but it is the sort of DNA that I can say will work over time in the heat than it will work in the cooler weather, because it is like a safe, a safe DNA, a very careful DNA, one that doesn't feel like it's designed to be beastly, but of course you will be able to smell it. It's nowhere near like a baby powderish kind of scent that is like a skin scent. No, that is not what I'm saying. I am just saying, just based off this bottle, right, based off this rustic car, do not expect a cologne fragrance, a hardcore, woody, spicy fragrance, something that's masculine toned, something that might be ideal for winter, that sort of thing. I do not get that, guys. I actually get a softy in this fragrance. And while I'm at it, I might as well mention the note of matte that they've put in here. There is the listing of the note of matte, but that matte is not enough to push this one to aromatic. So what matte sometimes does, it'll, add an aromatic weight, a herbal weight, sometimes a spicy weight, if you will. It just depends on how your nose perceives it. But don't let that one be the one that, makes you decide, oh, it's got matte, then it's going to turn herbal and aromatic and I'm going to like it nonetheless. For now, it just feels like a fragrance that, say you went and you blind bought this one for a man, or a man blind bought it for themselves and they wore it, they might find themselves sharing it with their significant other, or even find themselves having to trade it with their partner because it just gives that very femme fatale type of vibe, very grown, sexy type of vibe. The bergamot is listed, is included there, but it's not enough to disturb it. But it is one note that I can say is working better than the tonka is, because you can at least smell the bergamot, but it's not enough to cross it over to cologne. That's what I can say. So yeah, guys, that is my conclusion when it comes to this fragrance. If it does improve, I will definitely bring it here, but I'm beginning to think that probably this line is one that they just deliberately chose to maybe put 1 or 2, 3 softies there, because I do have, or I did bring La Collections d'Antiquities 1910, and it was another one that surprised me, being a spicy cologne summery scent, and I was not expecting that because it has that protruding bike. And I was thinking, just looking at the fragrance, looking at the presentation, I'm now talking about the counterpart to this one, not this very one, but the counterpart comes in exactly something like this, but it has that, bike. So just by looking at that, I was thinking, if I were maybe to just, do guesswork and I was shopping online, I would probably pick it for somebody who is maybe a tattooed biker type of, that jeans and leather jacket type of man, and then them receiving that fragrance and then realizing, oh, this is a softie, I don't know how they would feel about it. So for now, I'm going to say, if you're a woman, you can certainly blind buy this. If you're a man, you can also certainly blind buy this, but do not expect a quintessential masculine scent. It will surprise you, okay? 2 meters somewhere thereabouts, scent bubble, people can smell you, but it's not doing the most, unless of course you're in the heat, where you're in the heat and there's wafts of that wind, and then of course it just comes alive in the heat. But having said that, let me say, you can absolutely wear it any season, except for the fact that if you want it to work overtime for you, then my recommendation is that you wear this one in spring and summer. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this one, guys. This actually concludes or wraps up the haul that I did bring you for the month of April, because what I try to do is I try to bring you a haul and I try to squeeze everything within that haul in the month. So from the ones that were gifted by Lattafa, this is the last one. I have literally reviewed all of them. Remember to turn on post notifications on both my channels, actually. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Meanwhile, like and share this one. And remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.